So we are finally nearing the end. This is the 6th episode or part of the series, and I'm putting in the final touches on the painting. I'm doing some more work on the grill of the car to add more detail to the number 1 on the front of the car. Also a little bit of more detail on the bonnet and the radiator cap. Most of my time during this final stretch of the painting is just looking for any kind of obvious mistake. There will always be mistakes, but I'm looking for the obvious ones. The windscreen seems okay, still adjusting the goggles. I'm now painting the rear leaf springs for the rear suspension. There are 2 of them. Some sidewall adjustments on the body of the car. And back to the leaf springs. Now the rear wheel is drooping because the car is in mid-air. That is why I made the springs bend down a bit, show the weight of the axle. The detail for this is not very clear, so I'm improvising a lot with this. Some more details on the body of the car, cleaning up the frame of the cockpit. The picture is distorted because of the lens of my phone that I'm taking the videos with. So it seems like the car is bent a bit and the wheels are a bit disproportionate, but in the end of this video, where I have proper photos of the car, you'll be able to see that the car is in fact straight and it's not bent, and the wheels are properly formed the way they should be. And it's back to the radiator grille of the car again, adding some more detail to the one. I don't want the one to be too clear because it still has to appear to be painted on. So I'm not really using white to paint it. The white parts are shiny parts. So things that are painted white in real life are usually in paintings you make them grey, because they're not really white. When you look at it, your brain perceives it as white because you know it's been painted white, but it's actually grey. and that's something you have to look out for when you paint numbers on racing cars. Still busy with the grill. I decided to add the mesh on the unpainted part of the grill as well, instead of leaving just a black hole in the nose of the car. Gives a little bit more solidity, if I can call it that. It basically tells you that there actually is something inside of that car. It's not just a black hole sitting there with nothing inside, making the car look like some kind of prop. This is a painting of an actual car, so it must feel like a real car when you look at it. Because I'm not really using a ruler or measuring devices for this, it gets very hard to make the grill consistent. You have to be very careful that the gaps between the wires you're drawing don't get bigger or smaller, and the thicknesses of the wires and the lengths and the little squares that it forms must be uniform throughout the grill as much as possible. But when you have some flaws in it, it's also not the end of the world, because in real life a car like that would probably have some damage on that grill already from stones that have hit it. So it looks more natural if you do have some inconsistencies with it. Highlighting the exhaust silencer box again, which is that round thing between the front and the rear wheels, just below the top rear leaf spring. Adding some more detail to the track surface and also the grass next to the track. I'm trying to continue the impression of speed, velocity, so I'm also making the grass next to the road a bit stripy. The distant trees where the bridge is, I don't want too much detail, so I'm still trying to make it look a bit faded or out of focus, because I don't want it to grab the attention of the viewer. And now I'm back on the car again, also highlighting parts of it. Adding more details to the road surface, and I'm trying to also keep that out of focus. I don't want, when the road surface is flashing by, you shouldn't really be able to focus on it, which is what I'm trying to achieve here. So if you make the lines too sharp, it will kind of spoil it or ruin it, the effect. I'm trying to add new lines on the road surface without making them too clear or too sharp. They must be soft. Usually when your eyes can fix onto something, it has a harder appearance. If you see details and sharp images, it has a more harder feeling than when things are out of focus. Things that are out of focus or too far to see proper detail normally appear softer, and I'm trying to create that effect with the trees in the background, making them softer, less intrusive to the story, and also making the road or the track surface a bit softer. Because even though the track, it's hard, it's concrete, it's very abrasive, and it has texture. When you soften it up a bit so that the eyes cannot focus, it helps with the speed. I'm now writing in the title. For that I use a stencil to help me make it more consistent, and I'm just writing it with a pencil, and then I'll paint it over with oil paint. And when you write the title on a painting, you have to be super careful not to make spelling mistakes. So I check and double check and check again, and I'm still worried if I spelled something wrong, because I am a bit dyslexic. Well, I'm not sure if you can call it dyslexia, but the images that I see are jumping a bit or shaking a bit, which leads me to make lots of spelling mistakes and number mistakes when I write. This was one of my big issues when I was a student. I used to mix up digits when I wrote exams, and I would fail the exam. And so I had to learn the hard way to triple check everything, every single thing. And that's especially important when you're doing engineering calculations, because when you make a mess there, people can die. Anyway, so fortunately throughout my career I didn't make any life-threatening mistakes. Actually, I didn't even make many mistakes that would cost money, but yeah. Writing the name on a vertical surface to me is very difficult. My arm or wrist wouldn't bend properly to write it with my correct handwriting, so it looked a bit off, and I erased it again. And I also decided to add the year and the car engine size to the title, which I'm going to do now. I wrote it in with a pencil already, as you can see. And I'm painting it now. 24L for 24 liter, and 1935 was the year. Back to John Cobb's goggles. And this shirt, I'm still trying to create that, the shirt material flapping in the wind, kind of, and getting ripped by the wind, that kind of effect. So I don't want it to appear to be stretching around the shoulder too much. So I'm trying to drop the shoulder line a bit. Because also that dark blue part now that I just made isn't really stretching over the shoulder of John Cobb. It's basically loose material flapping in the wind. So if you look at the position of his head, the arm is also extended quite far. I suppose he was also trying to lean in, which is something you subconsciously do in a car when you're going around the corner. People tend to try to lean to the inside of the corner because you have an inherent fear of of rolling the car or losing the car off the track to the outside of the corner. Most of the shirt is not covering his shoulder. His shoulder is actually kind of hiding behind that windshield, and the shirt you're seeing is flapping loosely in the wind. Adding some white again to highlight the sun shining on the car. Quite happy with the grill. I like the mesh that I put on with the one. I think I'm going to keep it that way, even if it is wrong. Some more detail on the radiator cap. I'm trying to make the cap he's wearing without making it look like hair, because it's not his hair. That is in fact a leather cap. And another attempt at writing my name. This time it looks a bit better. Let's try again. As I said, it's very difficult to write my name vertically. I don't know if it's something about my arm muscles or my wrist, but to write on a flat surface on the desk is easy to me. That's why with a water painting, I usually take the painting, place it flat on the table and then write my name and the title on it. But this painting I cannot really do it. I don't even have a table this size. So I'm gonna try again very soon. You can see the faint marks of my name written in pencil. So we're gonna write it again with paint. And this time it looks a lot better. I'm happier now. This kind of looks like my handwriting. Much neater as well. And the fingerprint. The fingerprint is difficult to forge. Very difficult. Especially with oil paint. So why not do that? So I usually, when I remember, sometimes I forget, but on important paintings like these that took a lot of work, I always put a fingerprint on the painting. If you want to know if my stuff is authentic, I don't know if this is the future and you're looking at this video many years later after I've died, but if you want to know if a painting like that is really mine, try to find a fingerprint on it. I also have certificates on the back of my paintings, but those can be forged. Handwritings can be forged. We have so much technology these days to forge all kinds of things. Sometimes I wonder, would it be overdoing things if you put your DNA on a painting? Maybe stick one strand of hair into the paint on your painting. What do you guys think? Maybe you should comment on that. I would like to hear what your opinions are about that. The last time I worked on the embankment, it felt to me like I was making it too flat on there where the bridge is, because where you're looking at the bridge, you're not looking perpendicularly, but you're looking at about a 45-degree angle at that part of the track, and so it should already look extremely steep, and it must look steeper than the part on the left hand of the painting behind John Cobb's head, because that part, you're looking more in line with the curvature at the apex, or in line with the apex, or tangent with it. So yeah, I'm trying to put some more detail in the spectators. The spectators, I don't want to go too much into detail, because they are not the important ones. You must know that there were people and witnesses and crowds and so on, but the story is not about them. So I don't put any detail there. You can see figurines there or figures there, but that's it. Some more touch-ups on the grille. I'm really getting to the end now. A little bit here and there on the wheels, not too much. I don't want to overdo it. This is a part where I'm extremely cautious of overdoing it, because I always overdo things, and it can start to look awkward if you overdo details on paintings like these. So this is it. This is an angled photo. Show the car in its upright proportions. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. The whole project took me about 60 or 61 hours, maybe a little bit over 60 hours, which is less than I expected it to be, but it's still a lot. I mean, that's a week and a half of work, which means in a normal month you'll only be able to paint about 3 of these paintings if you painted full time and did nothing else. And as an artist, you cannot just paint. You also spend a lot of time marketing your paintings and doing sales and advertising and negotiating with galleries and so on. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the future, when I put a frame on this painting, I'm gonna make a video of that. Keep well.